Welcome to our podcast series on global diversity and future skills, where we explore the multifaceted dimensions of diversity and its profound impact on the professional world and the business world. I'm your host, Sajid, and today we have the privilege, very the privilege of diving deep into the realm of diversity and inclusion with our esteemed guest Karin. So Karin, before we would like to dive into the topics and questions, I would like to ask you why this topic of diversity and inclusion is important in today's business world and why it's important for our future leaders.
Mm. Thanks for having me in your podcast, Sajid. Very honored to be with you. And we published this very morning in Capgemini our 2023 business results, and we are demonstrating that last year we growed in parallel as a profitable business and as a responsible company, showing really that the two dimensions are clearly interconnected. And as the group head of diversity inclusion in Capgemini Group, of course, this is very close to my heart and very reflecting my daily activity in the group.
Yeah, very close to your heart. It's very potential to say that from you. Yeah, let's start with the immediate impact of inclusion on team innovation and productivity. Explained briefly, like how it translates in today's evolving professional landscape.
Yeah, alors, we are really convinced in Capgemini that there is a business case associated to what we do as a responsible company, and especially regarding diversity and inclusion. And this is very important to consider this business case because we are convinced that this is a strong driver of growth. As a leader in business and technology transformation, our core activity is to support our clients in their business transformation. Back in the 2010s, it was mainly about digital transformation. But since 2020s, it's more and more about digital sustainability. And the way we perceive sustainability shouldn't be limited to environmental sustainability only, reducing our clients' carbon footprint and emissions, but also equipping them for having a positive impact for their people and for external society, because we are considering that the transition has to be green and inclusive at the same time to be sure that it's really a long-lasting and sustainable transition and evolution. Besides, we are really convinced of the power of diverse teams representing society in its richness to creating distinctive value. Because they are the more diverse, the more innovative solutions by bringing different perspectives and profiles around the table. You have the more chances to create out-of-the-box ideas. We are convinced that our diverse teams are in a better position to really anticipate the expectation of our diverse clients. And this is really a must-have in the technological and AI sector, because if you don't have diverse teams of developers, for instance, you really putting yourself at risk of developing solutions that are not relevant for a bigger part of the final customers. I mean, there are plenty of several illustrations of that, of AI facing recognition tools that were totally unable to recognize non-white people, and so that was totally useless and were really dropped out. And more than that, I think that diverse teams show stronger resilience, adaptive skills that are really key to be agile enough to anticipate any kind of directions of the evolving context. And lastly, as a people business first, being committed towards diversity and inclusion acts as a talent magnet to attract and retain and engage the best talent, because we all know that among the new generation, a majority of them consider that joining a company that has a purpose, that is a responsible company, is definitely a criteria of choice.
Yeah, actually, thanks, Karen, because you mentioned a lot of innovative topics that we are discussing right now. For example, the people business approach. This is very important. The innovative solutions, and especially the customer expectations. So, but in this discussion, we would like to delve more into the building blocks of this standard policy. So, I would like to ask you, as a diversity and inclusion lead at Capgemini, how will you go about building an inclusive culture beyond standard policies? Can you give us a few tips?
Yeah. Alors, the way we approach D&I at our company is to really address the three pillars of D&I in parallel. The diversity, equity, and inclusion. Why? Because it's not enough to add more diverse people into your workforce, starting from women and then extending to LGBT plus community, ethnic groups, people with disabilities. This is great. But if you just keep on adding, I would say, minority segments, you miss the point of developing commonalities between the people, which is very important for a company. And you even have the risk to over-fragment a bit your population. On the contrary, we are convinced that everything that we do, every progress we make towards inclusion should benefit all of our employees. For instance, with our flexible working policy, with our benefits policy, we don't address only women's need, but we really target all parents, all carers, and even all individuals wanting to have a good balance between personal and professional life. So this is really important for us to strengthen this equal opportunities for all framework. And to do so, we have been obliged to really revisit all the steps of our talent value chain. So revisiting our recruitment policies and processes to be sure they really embrace all kinds of talent, whoever they are and wherever they come from. Then to review our promotion policy to be sure that every talent meeting the standard criteria should be considered for promotion, whatever the managerial component, which remains a bit more male-oriented for sure. And same for the salary perspective. We are running regular equal pay for equal work surveys to be sure that we have no big gap between genders or between people if they have the same profile and perform the same kind of work. So this is really important, and the partnership with HR is key to do so. And the direct feedback from our employees is key too, because through our regular employee surveys, through our employee networks that exist, for instance, like Women at Capgemini, Outfront, or Capability, we have a direct feedback on where they see that we could have areas of improvement. And all of these really feed our shift in our culture toward more openness, less bias, and it has to come from the top with equipping our managers, but also from a bottom-up perspective, so that we really embark the most people of our companies in this transformation journey.
Yeah, exactly. So much of your talk you talked about building capabilities and providing a safe environment for inclusion and people at Capgemini. But will this have any specific challenges in promoting diversity in a global environment? Like, you can summarize a few points and give us what are your solutions.
Alors, it's true that we have to consider local specificities. First, for legal reasons, because, for instance, the definition of disability varies from one country to another. There are still some countries, unfortunately, where homosexuality is illegal and even criminalized. Secondly, we have to take into consideration cultural reasons. For instance, religion is a no-brainer in UK, whereas you know that in France, it could be a very sensitive topic. And third element to consider is sometimes just the maturity stage towards this topic, or the terms of the debate in the society. For instance, we started very strongly in the US with D&I commitments, surfing on the wave post the Black Lives Matter movement. But since a few months, we really see a change, and sometimes perceiving a backlash from our employees, influenced by the decision from the Supreme Court on limiting abortion and ending positive action in the unis. So really, we have to consider all of this. That's why as in the group, we have in our DNA this culture of free entrepreneurs and a very matricial approach. We are pretty comfortable with developing what we call a global model. So it means that we are strong and firm on global and key principles that we have detailed in our very recently released group D&I policy. But at the same time, we are leaving room for local adjustment and implementation to resonate really with authenticity and with respect of the local environment and the local culture. And so, for instance, to be concrete, that's why sometimes we adapt in our different communication campaigns the photos so that they really reflect the diversity slate of the region, depending if we are located more in Europe, in the US, or in India, where we have more than half of our total head count. Or once again, coming back to the LGBT plus topic with the Pride campaign, we stand firm in solidarity with LGBT plus members as a group, but we know that in some countries where we operate in Morocco, in Tunisia, we can't communicate directly on this, while offering still to our employees over there direct access to global trainings or global safe workplace online they would like to benefit from.
Yeah. Exactly. So this leads us to question you, what are the leadership skills do you consider essential to navigate cultural diversity in?
Alors, I think this really starts with a question of mindset. You have to demonstrate curiosity, openness, humility, and empathy to try to be aware of your bias and limit them, and to put yourself in somebody's shoes. But beyond this mindset, because this doesn't come often so naturally, there are some tips or some tools that you could mobilize. For instance, let's try to absolutely be no judgmental. Don't play the language police, because most of the people, they are armed with good intentions, but sometimes they just don't know the topic. So instead of judging or teaching from a top-down perspective, you have to say that, you can't say that, just explain, develop awareness with testimonies so that people develop this kind of empathy and learning in parallel. Moreover, what you can do is to bring more people around the decision table so that you could reflect more different perspectives. And in my team, in my global team, we are more and more used to work as a task force, having representatives from Europe, US, India, so that we collectively have different perspectives when we take some action plans and when we take orientations. And what is really useful as well is, as I was saying a bit previously, is to have a different feedback channel to hear directly and to listen directly from your employees. And last thing I would like to highlight is sometimes you can even try to gamify that. For instance, there is a unit in Capgemini which is Frog, and they have developed a card system with real card play, showcasing some personas, some characters. So there is the pregnant woman, there is people in a wheelchair, there is a carer, and when they want to develop a new project or a new software, they play with that card game, and they say, okay, if I were this pregnant woman, what would I need from this service or from this solution? If I were people in a wheelchair, what would be the impact of this software, of this solution? And so this is a game, but at the same time, it is very powerful to precisely put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yeah, it's very powerful and impressive to understand the others and feel what others can feel and understand and react. In the era of future skills and knowledge, as we know, how do you envision the evolution of necessary skills to shape a successful professional future? Like, your advice in few words for our future leaders?
I think this is really, yes, at the core of this podcast. We used to, split the skills between hard and soft skills. And I think this very notion really keep on evolving. And for me, I would rank under hard skill different categories of skills. First, there is a STEM background, which I think is really important, not only because now we have more and more data-driven approach, but beyond this familiarity with data, having a STEM background helps to be in a problem-solving mindset, which is very, very useful. Second type of hard skill for me is digital skills. And when I say digital skills, it's not only being able to navigate with a computer and so on, because one of our research institute demonstrated that even among digital natives, millennial and younger generation, they know how to technically navigate through digital world, but sometimes they don't have the good knowledge and the good reflexes to step back and be comfortable with this level of information they're getting. Can I trust this information? Is it fake? Is it real? What does it tell me? How to organize that? This is what I put under digital skills as well, not only technical. And third kind of hard skill for me is developing more and more is green skills. This starts with having a basic knowledge on how anticipate the climate change and limit, yes, your personal impact. But green skills really infuse the entire roles and function, in fact, from green finance, green architecture, green supply chain. This set of core skills has to be rethought with this climate change perspective. And regarding the soft skills, I think now they are as equal in terms of importance as hard skill, because in this constant evolving and uncertain world, you have to develop this capacity of adaptability, resilience, be comfortable to navigate in a broader ecosystem, and try to make connection and transversal relationships between business and society, private and personal life. But my last advice would be, as you know, this panorama of skills might be a bit frightening because very, very deep and very large. And to some extent, it could be elitist and exclusive as well, because we know that in the world, more than 50% of the women population still don't have access to digital equipment. We know that children and teenagers that live in rural areas, they don't have the same level of equipment as well, and teachers in those areas feel less connected to the teachers in urban areas. So there is a risk of creating elitism and exclusion. So to fight against that, my last advice would be try to develop what makes you really special. What is your specific skill that you gained in school, in your job, or in your private life that really makes you different, and bringing your all authentic self and bringing your specific added value.
Yeah, exactly. I'm truly impressive and loved by this combination of hard soft skills and how you demonstrate it. Actually, now it's not traditional. It's more that we should focus more on ourselves and focus more on the skills that we will gain. Just you mentioned the green digital skills, and I would like to share with our students and young leaders that you can find a free a free learning from Microsoft and LinkedIn. It's titled Green Digital Skills, so you can Google it and you will find that it's free. It's free learning, and by the end you gain a certificate, and they give you 1 free year subscription on LinkedIn, so you can go learn how to measure your impact with digital tools. So as we conclude our discussions today, We would like more to hear from you, but time is time, and we
Yeah.
have this podcast for this time. So it's clear that fostering diversity and inclusion is not just a moral imperative, but also a strategic necessity for organizations striving for excellence in today's global landscape. And I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for Karen for sharing her invaluable insights and experiences with us, and remembering that embracing diversity is not just about ticking boxes. It's about creating an environment where every individuals feel valued, empowered, and able to contribute their best. And thank you for tuning in. And until next time, let's continue championing diversity in all its forms.
Thank you so much, Sajid. Thanks to all. Bye bye.